And your commentary team for this match is Alison Fisher and Phil Yates.
Michael, thanks very much indeed. Yes, Roberto Gomez hoping to have better fortunes than his good pal and fellow Filipino Jeffrey De Luna, who was beaten in the opening match of the day by Niels Feyen. But Roberto Gomez knows from recent personal experience just how good a player Dennis Grabber can be. When Estonia met the Philippines in the quarter-final of the World Cup recently, Estonia, i.e. Grabber and his partner Mark Maggi, prevailed. And Alison, it is Grabber who very impressively wins the lag.
Yes, I think we're in for a very exciting match here. As you said earlier, we just saw Jeffrey De Luna earlier losing to Niels Feyen. Let's see if Roberto Gomez can keep the Filipinos in this tournament.
Well, they've got a great history of success as a nation in the World Masters. To be fair, if you look at the Roll of Honour for any significant pool tournament, the Filipinos feature heavily and often. So it would be a real surprise if they were both to be beaten at the first time of asking.
The first record. Dennis Grabber de break.
That said, Dennis Grabber is a former Euro Tour winner and well capable of overcoming Gomez.
Oh, we saw Dennis break off there. Quite a powerful break. Lost the cue ball a little. Still at the table. Hasn't got an easy shot on the one ball here. Will we be seeing a good safety shot? I think he's looking at putting the cue ball up near the top rail there, near the six ball. And using the two ball as a blocker. Oh, beautifully played. It's almost right on the six ball. Let's take another look at that. It's nice to get that speed control. Second shot of the tournament for him. And the Filipino players are very well known for their kicking abilities. Obviously one of the greatest Filipino players ever and one of the greatest pool players ever is Efren Reyes from the Philippines. That was a really tough shot to play on a new cloth. Because you see, he put a lot of backspin on that cue ball and it didn't really grab off the rail, the second rail, like he expected. So a good safety has given Dennis ball in hand and a nice opportunity in this first rack.
The storyline at the World Cup, as it was at the World Cup a couple of years ago, was that Grabber, as the senior player, quite often got a little irascible with his partner, Mark Maggi, who is much less experienced. Now, though, it is a very different scenario. Individual pool, and Grabber has a burning desire to make an impact and to make an even bigger name for himself.
Would have liked a little bit more angle on this 4-ball, but nevertheless he can punch it in and out of the rail. Just walked around to look at where he'd like to finish for the 5-ball. But everything should be pretty simple from here.
Extension, please.
With this 30-second shot clock, in every rack, a player has got one 30-second extension, and if you've got it, why not use it?
Well, it's
Grabber
always
knows that
good if
this is
you're...
the test of a shot. This is the one that needs to go in. If it does, as it did, that's the rack pretty much won, Alison.
Yes, I was just going to say, if you've had that opportunity, I love the way the players are really viewing that shot clock this week and dealing with it, because it can be quite intimidating when you hear that loud noise coming overhead.
Yeah, the 30-second extension is normally used when a player realises that that's the key shot of the entire rack. Sometimes it's needed to figure out an escape from a snooker or something like that, but generally speaking, it's used on what they view as the pivotal shot of the rack. Just a tad short of pace. Grabber there. Still can't imagine he's going to miss the 9-ball. So, Dennis Grabber sends out an early message. And talking of which, we've seen them play. Let's hear what they've got to say.
Yeah, it's my first time this year and I hope it will be many years to come. I think it's exciting to play, the adrenaline, and of course it's always very well organized, and the TV arena, it's exciting to play, and it's always nice to play against the top guys in the business.
Oh, I'm excited in this tournament. This is the World Pool Master. It's like a dream come true to compete in this Masters.
He's such a nice guy, Roberto Gomez. Very interesting, actually. He went to university in his native Philippines, thought about studying architecture, in the end studied political science and also broadcasting, and for a while he was a reporter over there.
Thank you, second.
Now he's the one being reported on.
Carver to break, leading 1-0.
Dennis Gray back at the table. Oh, he was lucky there that the cue ball didn't get kicked in the side pocket. Again, it went slightly off to the right, which was unintentional. Let's take another look. See, there it goes. Kicked by the 7-ball. So he's still at the table.
The 8 and the 3 could cause a few headaches.
Yes, I think we're in for a little tactical battle.
Push out called.
I think that's the beauty of pool too. When you break the balls, you're left with a different layout every time.
And as we've discussed on many occasions, Alison, the push-out is an art in itself.
Yes,
it's not about literal thinking, is it? It's about lateral thinking.
Yeah. Well, the thing with the push-out is really like a safety shot. Sometimes people push into jump shots. They kind of think about what their opponent would do. But you've obviously got to be able to light the shot when you get back at the table in case your opponent puts you back.
So when you made the transition
please,
from
yeah.
snooker to pool, did players push out and leave you a jump because they thought you weren't accustomed to jump shots?
Well, it's a funny story that, because when I first went I went to China for Q-Tech, Q company I was originally with, and there were some American players, and I remember somebody pushed me out into a jump shot, and I didn't even know that you could jump the ball at the game. So I put the person back thinking, oh, easy peasy, you know, I'm going to get ball in hand here. And they pulled out a jump cue, jumped over, made the shot, and ran out. So I learned quickly that I need to get a jump cue and learn how to do that.
I think it's called a rude awakening.
Absolutely. But I do love this part of the game, and we're going to see Roberto play a nice jump shot. Went for the 9-ball and made it. What a great shot.
A jump 2-9 combination, and with that, Roberto Gomez spectacularly draws level at 1 rack each. That was a cracker, wasn't it?
Oh, it's great to see. And like I said, it is a very nice skill set in itself to be able to jump the ball and control the cue ball. Many players in the game don't like that fact of the jump shot, but here we take another look at it. And I think it adds a little bit of beauty to the game.
Well, I couldn't agree more, Alison. I think the jump shot adds that extra dimension, and fans certainly love it. I really love to see a good jump shot executed, so why not? If it's the same for everyone, what's the problem?
Agreed. Just means you've got to get good at it.
He's 42 years of age now, Roberto Gomez. His best in this tournament was, well, 11 years ago now. Semi-finalist. Dennis Grabber, he's one of those players, you see them in every sport, you can immediately tell that he's absolutely burning for success. He
The
wants
third
it
break.
perhaps more than
Roberto
pretty
Gomez
much
to break.
anyone else.
The current score
And he's
is
making
1.
his debut in the tournament.
And you see on his glove there is his nickname, Superman. But he doesn't quite fly as high as Jeffrey De Luna, his teammate on the break.
Well, the big thing in his life at the moment, is there a gap? Is there a gap? The one over the pocket, right over the pocket. The gap I'm talking about between 3 and 5. Does it exist? The answer's yes.
The cue ball just bounced a little further than he would have liked. He's just trying to avoid that 8-ball. Go around the back of it to get on the 3, but nevertheless he has a shot.
And we must reiterate that normally he would fancy this time and time again, but with these smaller pockets, some doubt is implanted into the mind, and that was a classic example. That would have gone normally. Very small tolerance.
Extension called.
Well, we're playing in the World Masters, the Dapperbet World Masters. And we're going to see by the end of the week who is the master of this table.
Well, he was anxious from the moment he made contact there, but the kiss on the 6 actually has done him a massive favour.
We can
Because
see
it took
from-
the 6 across, didn't it, Alison?
Yeah, we can see there that Roberto can get through that gap. So that was kind of a nice shot there because he used the the pink 4 ball to slow the cue ball down. Maybe a bit fortunate the 3 ball caught the 9. See how he just used that to stop it, and the 3 ball had a bit of speed on it but caught the 9 ball there. So we'll be pleased with the outcome of that shot.
Where the 9 is, we could have a pretty swift conclusion to this rack. Although now the balls are so nice, why risk any kind of combination? Just knock them in.
What makes this tournament tough is it short races, races to 7 with the best players in the world. Mistakes are punished, and it's also a winner break event. We've seen some great matches so far. One that stood out to me was yesterday's Chris Mellon match against Sanjin. Where Chris got into a nice lead and Sanjin started to make his comeback with a few racks in a row, but unfortunately missed that 1 ball in the corner pocket. Back to here and now. We've got Roberto running out to try and make it a 2-1 lead.
He came so close to what would have been a totally needless in-off.
Wow, I can't believe that. He just caught that 8 ball a little bit thicker than planned. And did you see Dennis's face in the background? Just a wry smile there.
What relief for Roberto Gomez. Could have sold that rack so easily, but the cue ball just about stayed on the table, and now Gomez takes a 2-1 lead. Welcome back to the Dapperbet World Pool Masters. Roberto Gomez made life difficult for himself at the tail end of that rack. That was just a smidgen away from what would have been a self-destructive scratch. But the cue ball stayed on the table after he knocked in the 8, and the 9 followed. So, Roberto Gomez leads Dennis Grabber 2-1 after losing the opening rack. Already victorious this afternoon, Mieszko Fortunski and a 2-time World Pool Masters champion from the past, Niels Fine.
Back to the table, and we have Roberto Gomez breaking. Well, he broke the balls well. He just lost the cue ball there. It went forward instead of staying in that centre part of the table. So he'll be disappointed with that. We can see the 9 ball rolling in the way there, with being able to see the 1.
Push out called. The options, Dennis.
With the push out, it's all about trying to get into the mind of your opponent and try and discover what they fancy, what they don't want to take on.
Yeah, we can see he's left a shot, like thing cut into the corner, but it's control of a cue ball to get back onto the 2. And you can see that Dennis is walking round, looking at where he'd like the cue ball to go once he makes the 1 ball. And he's weighing up the options. Is that a good shot to play?
Extension, please.
Opting to use his extension, his 30-second extension. We get 1 extension per rack played. And I think that's why he was taking his time. He didn't really like the outcome there. He knew that he could make the 1, but getting to the 2 ball was very tricky.
And now this is potentially horrible cueing.
If you look at where the 1 went into the pocket, it was on the... See there? He sort of caught it a little bit thick, hit it on the left side of the pocket as we're looking at it. And that caused the cue ball to come off a little wider than anticipated.
So really, although it was 1 shot delayed, I think the Gomez push out probably vindicated. Definitely vindicated now, Alison.
Yes, absolutely. Look at how he controlled the 2 ball there. He made the 7 ball with a carom and hit it hard enough to send the 2 back over to the corner pocket. Let's take another look at that. Beautifully played. Leaving himself a nice angle on a 3. He's going to have to put a lot of left-hand spin on the cue ball and go 2 rails down to the pink 4 ball. You can see from above, see how he's looking on the left side of the cue ball there. Played very nicely.
I must say, I love watching the Filipino contingent play. There's a unique artistry to the way they go about this game.
can definitely learn some shots from watching. Shots you might not have thought about. Doesn't really want to be on the rail there because these rails are quite high. They're not easy to cue from. So he's looking around. Hasn't used his extension. Oh, he has used his extension, I believe.
Roberto Gomez.
And nicely
Stayed down on the
Went for it.
shot, and even though it just caught a slight portion of the near jaw, it went in nevertheless. And so Roberto Gomez, I think he played that rack pretty much perfectly, and he leads by 3 racks to 1. Dennis Grabber looking a little depressed, but of course it's still early days.
Yeah, well done to Roberto Gomez there. Got Carl Boyes with me. And that was ball on the rail, but wasn't that easy?
No, I mean, the Filipino pool players, you know, they've got some of the best shots in pool. That's what they're famous for, and we're seeing it now with Superman.
There's such a flamboyance about these 2 Filipino players as well. It's a joy to watch at times.
Yeah, they're great friends as well, and, you know, you've spoke to them outside of this arena and in the hotel and stuff like that, and you can see they have a lot of fun, and that shows on the pool table.
Yeah, they're speaking earlier, listening to Roberto in his interview, like how privileged he is to be there. Just great guys. But what happens now? How's Dennis going to be feeling right now? We can see how frustrated he gets.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got to be patient. Hopefully you get your chance, but he's a big character in the world of pool. You can see the expressions on his face. He doesn't look happy.
Yeah, that's what we love about the pool. There's so many great characters here at the Dafabet World Pool Masters. For now, let's go back to the commentary team.
Would love to.
Dennis Grabber trying to force a smile. I really do like his intensity. You see players in all
Back in
cue
the fifth
sports
rack.
like this, and you can immediately
Roberto Gomez to
identify them.
Leading
And
by
you know
3 racks to 1.
that they are desperate for silverware, desperate to make an impression on their fellow competitors.
Again, a nice break from Roberto, but he doesn't seem to have any reward there. He controlled the cue ball a lot better in that rack. But the 1 ball does not squeeze by the 6 ball into the corner. It's always interesting to see racks like this, though, what the players are thinking. It looks like he's going to try and play a nice little safety shot here.
Roberto.
I'm not sure. I think Dennis can see the edge of that 1 ball, and especially the way Roberto is reacting. You can see he wanted to catch it right by the pocket there and get behind the 6 ball.
It was interesting, actually, earlier on, Jeffrey DeLuna at one point was admiring his work, or at least looking at the table after he'd played his
Extension
stroke. And he stayed there a little too long, and Marcel Eckhart, the referee, said, "Come on, Jeffrey, basically get out of the way." And I think he did the same thing there with Roberto.
Well,
At the shot clock, Alison, it's very important to vacate the airspace.
Well, that's just what I was going to say. You're really playing on the other person's time, so it is important to get out the way. There's no reason to stand there and really look at the shot that you've just played.
Nothing gets past Marcel. He's very efficient, no nonsense.
It was a nice little kick shot he played there, but I think he was trying to hold that cue ball behind the 4. giving Dennis a nice little opportunity. He's got an angle on the 1 to punch across for the 2 ball into the corner. There's a little bit of movement there. He jumped up a little quickly off that shot, so I wonder if he's feeling a little nervous at the moment.
You're right, Alison. That was a semi-lunge, wasn't it?
You know, looking at the paper here, I see that he's 31 years old, but he's been playing pool for 25 years. Again, a little jumpy off a shot there. He needs to stay down a little longer. Having said that, this is a big rack for him. A chance to make it 3-2. And obviously get the break back.
That's great. Points all right.
Just what he required, getting back into it. So Gomez made the mistake, immediately realised its implications, and Dennis Grabber, even though he wasn't technically perfect in the rack, the balls went where he wanted them to. Shouldn't be underestimated. Actually, the bookmakers made him a slight favourite to win this match, even though Gomez has got a really good pedigree. A little lucky with position on the 9, but once it was achieved, he was never, ever going to miss that. I'll tell you how good Dennis Grabber can be. In 2014, he won consecutive Euro Tour events at the Austrian Open and the Slovenian Open. And he also reached the final of a European or a Euro Tour event in Austria in 2018.
Rack number 6. Then scrape the break. Trailing 3-2.
Well, we've got a guest for the next few racks, young Sanjan Pilavanovic. Welcome, Sanjan.
Thank you, Phil.
So, out in the first round, unfortunately, but you must be enjoying your experience here in Gibraltar.
Yeah, actually, I played yesterday, lost to Chris Melling, and it's a nice experience for me. It's nice to be part of this beautiful, tournament, and I enjoyed it really. Just need to get more experience, and I think I'll be fine.
Tell us a little about pool in your home nation. Is it thriving over there?
Yeah, actually, yesterday when I was playing, it was like, actually, I have a pool hall and my club was full of fans, and this time I want to say thanks to them and to fans all over the world. And yeah, it's growing a bit, and this kind of tournament and the ones who represent my country on this kind of tournament, it's helping a lot for,
Extension, please.
Uh,
Have you played against Dennis Grabber on many occasions?
Yeah, we played, I think, last year in Estonia. We played in semi-final. I beat him in a tight match. I think it was Hill. He's a good player.
Roberto back at the table due to a poor safety from Dennis there. But I think he'll find himself doing the same to Dennis now. Back to a safety shot. Oh, he's very disappointed with that, because not only has he left Dennis a chance at the 3, but he's also opened the 4 and 5 ball up.
worst case scenario. I think I heard the word slide there when the cue ball hit the cushion. How did the table play for you, Sanyan?
Actually, in the beginning, it was kind of tough to get speed. It's kind of a bit different. Like in a practice room, tables are a bit higher. So actually, the thing is, I couldn't hold my emotions till the first break of 3-0 for Chris, and after I could play some pool. But till the break, to be honest, I couldn't hold my emotions, and after that, I could, and I played some solid pool.
Holding your emotions, are you meaning you felt nervous or?
It's kind of mixed emotions, a little pressure, but not at all. But yeah, I did like have a little pressure, and I was a bit nervous. It's kind of mixed emotions.
Yeah, it's a tremendous experience for you because how old are you now?
I'm 19 years old now.
You're a baby still in the pool world.
Yeah.
And you've won a World Junior Championship.
Yeah, it was 2017.
And what would you say is your best result so far, most meaningful to you?
That's for sure one of them. The most beautiful moment of my career. I mean, junior career. Also, yeah, when I got MVP. Actually, I think it was from you on Atlantic Challenge Cup, the small Mosconi Cup. Yeah, it's like crown on my junior career.
We'll continue this conversation after the break. I've got one question I must ask. And there's going to be plenty of pool left in this match because now Dennis Grabber is back on level terms. It is 3 racks each. This is Gibraltar. It really is a fantastic place to visit. So much going on. It's a small nation, very small in fact, just a peninsula jutting out into the Mediterranean and the Atlantic. It's a lazy Sunday afternoon. Christina Tkach ringing home, telling the folks the bad news that she's out of the tournament.
Thank you,
But Fedor
Frank.
Korst, there
The
on the
current
left-hand
scores,
side, the
3
reigning
racing.
world 9-ball champion, is
That's
still
great.
very much involved. And both of these two players will fancy their chances from here. It is Denis Grabber 3, Roberto Gomez 3.
And that is a perfect break. Obviously, we didn't want the 4-ball, the pink 4-ball, to be tied up on the 8-ball there. You could see his smile. Bit of frustration with that. Nevertheless, he's at the table and in control.
Generally, Sanyan, how is the table breaking? Is it okay, friendly?
Actually, it's kind of easy to break. Just you need to control your white ball, where it's gonna stop. I was struggling a bit with that, but yeah, the wing ball is usually always going in.
With a 4, the 7 and the 8 to hide behind. That was a little clumsy from Denis Grabber, and he knows it. So the question I was going to ask you before the break, Sanyan, I saw on your information sheet that you provided for us that when you were 11, you almost qualified for the World Cup.
Yeah, actually, I played with my friend Alen Muratovic. He's not playing anymore, but in that time he was like better than me, and he just invited me to play qualification. So we got to the finals, beating also Dennis Grape in a semi-final. And actually, I think we beat them 2 times. I think
Extension
also in the
call.
2 rounds. So we were playing like really good, and then lost to, I think, Czech Republic, something close. It was like the worst moment of my life. I was so young, and I kind of nervous, pissed off, everything.
Yeah, we can see Dennis miss that 2-ball in the side pocket and walk straight back to his seat. Missing a little opportunity there. And here we go. See what Roberto's trying to hide that cue ball behind those balls. Safety play is not up to par, is it, at the moment?
And that's something you certainly don't expect from any of the leading Filipinos. They're normally very tight when it comes to the tactical exchanges. I'm still getting my head around the fact that an 11-year-old came very close to playing in the World Cup. I played Ronnie O'Sullivan at snooker when he was 10, and he was absolutely brilliant then. But actually playing in the World Cup of pool at the age of 11, wow, that would have been something.
Yeah, it would. I actually a month ago I made my first debut on World Cup of Pool, and actually I can say it's kind of different with the crowd and without crowd. It's this time it makes me like a little bit nervous. Everything, TV arena setup, like it's always even better and better. We were just like incredibly happy with the World Cup of Pool arena, and this one now is even better.
Well, you know, in 2007, the
a really tricky position. So Dennis will be relieved to be back at the table. But the 4-ball is still tied up, so he'll be playing across table. Oh, he miscued. He miscued.
Well, it's not Sanyan's fault, but since he's been in this chair, it's all gone very ragged. They've started making mistakes. Maybe they're intimidated because they can see you in the commentary box.
No, we actually are good friends. Yeah, I don't know what happened right now, but it's tricky situation. Filipinos are good and really good on the kick shots, so I think it wouldn't be a problem.
Extension,
for
please.
Roberto.
So what's the long-term plan then, Sanyan? Just continue to improve and play in more international tournaments?
Yeah, it's. I will have the next one is World Championship in Milton Keynes, so I'm really looking forward for it and many more tournaments like this.
I met you, Senjin, when you were about 2 feet shorter in China a few years ago. And your game has certainly improved over the last couple of years. And it's good to see you on this international stage.
Yeah, actually, we were there like a month. It was a good time there. Struggling with the food in China, it's kind of tough. But yeah, it's nice to see you too, even in the commentary box here. Nice.
Oh, what a jump shot that was, because the contact had to be so fine. That was terrific. And bear in mind, he's already pulled off one really spectacular jump, a 2-9 combination to win the second rack. It's that kind of shot, Sanyan, that really gets the adrenaline going and builds your confidence.
Yeah, yeah. This kind of shots, yeah, they're building your you believe in yourself even more, and when you finish the rack like this, which I think it's not going to be a problem for Roberto.
It should be a routine, but we saw a lot of 9 balls missed in the World Cup. Not so many are going astray here. And after that slice of inspiration from Roberto Gomez, he regains the lead, although it's a slender one at 4-3. So this is the Dapperbet World Pool Masters. 24 of the best players on the planet have gathered in Gibraltar, and this is the format. The first round features the 16 non-seeded players. They produce 8 winners to play the 8 seeded players in the last 16, which will start next. Our next match, in fact. It's winner breaks, 30-second shot clock with 1 30-second extension per rack. All races, apart from the final, are a race to 7. The final is a race to 9. And the pocket sizes, well, the corners are 4 inches. The middle pockets are 5 inches. A couple of questions here for Sanyan. First, winner breaks, do you prefer that?
Yeah, I prefer winner break. Maybe a longer sets, and yeah, it will definitely like harder up the game 9-ball on the spot. So because as you can see, the break is really easy to make, but just need to control the white ball. It would harder up the game for sure.
And what about these 4-inch pockets?
Actually, I love that. We have in the practice room 375, I think, and it's still good. I like small pockets. I like it, really. It's good for a game. Yeah, as I said.
That's the sentence, Alison, isn't it, of a 19-year-old? I like small pockets.
Well, I think it's good. It's good to create more discipline and technique, and it's showing this week. You know, the players that have really got very good fundamentals. And it's the way the game should be.
Yeah, actually, I played some Chinese 8-ball, so it's kind of even more tough.
Chinese 8-ball being played on a 9-foot snooker table.
Yeah, it's kind of 8 or 9 foot, but the pockets are and the rails are harder.
Yeah, it's played on a snooker cloth, isn't it?
Yeah.
There are so many different kinds of games, but one thing that's a constant normally is that the tactics and the defence of the Filipinos is excellent. But again there, that was loose from Gomez.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have got the speed of the table, does he, in this match?
Foul shot, illegal contact, ball in hand. Thanks.
So what he was trying there was just to tie up the pink 4 ball.
It's the referee's job, right?
Yeah, thanks. Start a clock, please.
And what we can see with Roberto it is he's figuring out where to place the cue ball after making the 3 and possibly playing a safety back on Dennis. Is that what you'd be thinking, Sanyan?
Yeah, I think he's going to play safety behind the 7 or no? Yeah, he has good angle to do it right now.
So just a really good stop shot here.
So while he's working this out, Dennis Krabbe, tell us your backstory, Sanyan. Did you get into pool because of watching the game on TV or because of a local club?
Actually, my father and his friends were like going to the pool every night, running from their wives, you know. So yeah, that's actually the truth they are telling me. So they were like taking me with them, and I was like in love with that game after 2-3 times. So 2-3 years after that, they opened a pool hall, and every day after school I was in a club. And actually my first European Championship, I saw the other kids from Holland and some big countries, you know, how they approach the game, how they see the game. So my country is kind of small, and you know, I was always saying to make a result from my country, it's like double the result from the bigger countries, because we don't have much good players in my pool. I don't know, like it's different when you have 7-8 players good, then you can always play top A game. But yeah, anyway.
Totally unlike the Philippines, where there are countless good players. Now there, I'm pretty sure Gomez thought he potted the ping 4 ball, but it stayed on the lip.
So I think what you're talking about, Sanyan, is the way to stay motivated and on top of your game is a little more difficult when you don't have the competition around you.
Yeah, actually, that's the only thing I'm missing in my country to compete. At least, yeah, when I was like 14, I was on top of the seniors of my country. So till that time, I just want somebody, you know, even to beat me sometimes, but actually to give me some proper match, to give me proper match, and I can, you know, focus 100% on it, because when I come here, I want to give my best game.
Well, you were up against a very much informed Chris Mellon yesterday. He was a great shot maker. But you did make a lovely little comeback. You just had that cut on the 1 ball.
Yeah, actually, I heard Phil said I played the 1 ball there, but I didn't. I played the safety. I was just like, I touched the 8 ball a little bit, and if I didn't touch it, it would be like really good safety, and
Dennis Gray.
he wouldn't have
Points away.
somewhere to move it. Yeah, probably.
5:39 break.
Probably, yeah.
Dennis Gray to
kind
break.
of tough
The current
match.
score is 4x each.
No real pattern to this, Alison, yet.
No, it's just going back and forth, and both making mistakes. Nobody really dominating here. So I think you could be correct. We could be looking at a 7-6 here. Well, he made a nice break shot there. He was controlling the cue ball, but it got kicked back, and you could see he pointed at the cloth where he stopped the cue ball, and you can see the 8 ball and the 4 ball kicking the cue ball back. He has a shot on the 1, but it's very tough.
Actually, Dennis is a great shooter. Think he'll go for it.
Yeah, because it's a natural position onto the 2 ball, isn't it? The focus is on making the shot. Do you feel like he's playing a little bit quickly? Do you feel like he's getting down and just hitting the ball at the moment?
Yeah, he is playing quickly, but he's always like that, you know. He's just shooting. I was thinking actually he would play it for a middle pocket 2 ball. But yeah, Roberto has an easy safety there.
Sanyan, you know Roberto and you know Dennis, and you know Dennis very well. It gives me the vibe that when he loses, he takes it very hard.
Dennis, yeah, he's taking it hard. We actually, after I beat him,
Extension called.
we had a little tough conversation, you know, because, yeah, I mean, the first thing you need to learn is to I mean, I lost yesterday, and I'm still not against Chris. I just did mistakes by myself. Nobody did anything to me.
Well, I like the fact that you're taking responsibility and learning from your mistakes, and that is the way to become a much better player.
Yeah, actually, for me, that's the most important thing, to learn everything, even 1% from every match. That means I'm growing, you know.
What a great perspective from a young player.
So, when you play well, Sanyan, and win the World Junior title and stuff like that, does that make the news back in your home nation?
Yeah, actually, my country is small, probably like 1 million and 200,000, and it was like I had like my old fans, like probably 500 of them. They were like the football fans, and they came in front of my club and doing some great things, music, everything. It's the moment I will remember for the rest of my life, and
Extension, please.
I will have many more of it.
And probably, I was going to say, the things that spur you on to do better.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, this kind of tournaments pushes me to work even harder because, yeah, one day for sure I'm gonna get this title.
Well, that really is a great perspective to have, and it's really nice to hear somebody say something with authority, because normally when you hear a player say, well, maybe I'd like to do this, like to do that, the ones who are assertive, they're the ones who make the biggest impact.
Well, that was a tremendous shot there by Roberto. It was a back cut into a blind pocket. Made it look easy. Let's take another look at that. Straight in the heart of the pocket, letting a cue ball run. 3 rails. Very nice.
So quickly, Sanyan, give us the name of the club and the city where you practice.
Actually, it's kind of funny situation. I was sponsored before by Metcues 10 years. Now, 3-4 months ago, I make a new deal with Predator Cues, and actually my pool hall name is 13 years ago named Predator. So right now, it's like kind of good. Before was like Metcues and Predator. Now it's both Predator.
Roberto's going to be really disappointed with that miss on the 3 ball there.
It has been the scratchiest match I think we've seen so far, but they count equally. Just get over the line, get into the next round, and you can always improve. You can't win it if you're not in it.
Yeah, that's right. It's tough tournament, you know, and it's short races, and really anything can happen. Just when you go there, like, it's full of mixed emotions. I mean, for everybody, not just me, because I'm a first time here. Everybody has it, and we are going with a lot of ups and downs in the game. But
You know, and as a player, not every match is going to go your way, and sometimes those little scrappy games you can end up winning the tournament. You've just got to come through those little tough times.
yeah, as you can see on Predator CPL, what Albin did, it was, I mean, incredible. He was struggling all the way. His tip broke with the Darren, and still he won the tournament. I mean, it's incredible.
I think what I loved about the Championship League was seeing the emotions of him throughout the event, the frustrations and how you come back from that. Because he really wore his heart on his sleeve, didn't he, every day out there?
Yeah, yeah, he was looking frustrated.
Well, another jump combo.
I think that's his 3rd successful jump in this match, isn't it? So again, we're going to put a lot of low left on this shot to come 2 rails for the 5 ball. Into the corner, nicely played. Oh, that was a really nice stroke by Roberto there. Didn't quite want to be there. Would like to have travelled a little further or a little shorter. Hasn't quite got the angle he wants, but what a great stroke.
Can you believe it? He certainly can't. Again, illustrating the unforgiving nature of these pockets. Anything with force needs to be accurate, Alison.
Yeah, you could see his backhand there just flinch a little bit, the wrist on the strike. And you have to have perfect mechanics when you're playing on tighter pockets. And he had that mistake in the last rack on the 3 ball, and then again in this rack.
That was close.
Plenty of seconds left to compose himself.
That's great.
And
Points are up.
against the head, Dennis Grabber grabs the lead at 5-4. It's a match full of mistakes. Your guess is as good as mine. Who will eventually prevail?
My home city is also capital city, Sarajevo. Probably you know. Yeah, actually it was in '84, and like 7 days before it was no snow at all. So the one day before it was like over, 1 day before the snow was like over 1 meter in my city, and 7 days before they didn't even know if there is going to be, you know. And it was also war and many things.
Welcome back to a very unpredictable match. Look at that. Roberto Gomez, one of the great Filipino players, looked like he was going to edge ahead, but then the 7 ball went astray, and from there Dennis Grabber just picked up the pieces. Mistakes have abounded thus far, and although Grabber is 1 rack ahead,
Thank you, Rector.
breaking off,
That is great to break.
it would take a
Leading
very
by
brave
5
man
extra.
indeed to predict what's going to happen from here on in. Well, Alison, ball spotted, but look at the 2 ball.
Yeah, he hasn't really had a chance to get flowing with the break, has he? Always something happening. Or he doesn't get that clear shot. He made that 1 ball in the side pocket, and as we can see, a lot of distance between cue ball and two ball. And it's right on the rail, that two ball, which makes it a little more difficult.
Sometimes, and we see it quite often, pool comes easy to these brilliant exponents of the game. Sometimes, like this, everything is a struggle.
Push out called.
But that's a little bit of the beauty of the game, though, isn't it, too? It's not just all about making
better your
balls.
shots.
You've got to have a good strategy, and every aspect of the game you have to be strong in.
And over the years, in all of these Matchroom events, we've seen many occasions where players have played iffy stuff to get through the first round, maybe the first couple of rounds, but then improve
again,
and
please,
maybe
yeah.
even go on to lift the trophy. So it's all a matter of just getting over the line here and pressing the reset button for the last 16.
Extension called.
By the way, the winner of this match will take on Austria's Albin Auschen, the Championship League pool winner recently, in the second round.
There's a few different options here. It looks like he's playing thin off the right side of the two as we look at it. He really wanted to spin the ball more there and maybe hit the two a little bit thicker and try and snooker Roberto. So not quite what he planned there.
Extension, please.
When those beeps come in, Sanyan, is it a little off-putting?
Yeah, when you don't have extension, it's kind of tough. Every second is important. Sometimes, I show that one. Sometimes I lose some seconds on some thinking, and I couldn't focus on my stroke, and it's but I like it. I like this extension thing.
I love that shot that Roberto just played on the two ball. He had a really thin hit and then clipped off the 8 ball to get position on the pink 4, and he's just played another really good shot because he landed a little bit straight on that 4. Where he's put a lot less spin on the cue ball just
Still
to bring
tough.
it out 2 rails. It seems like he's doing a lot of the hard work in these racks and then giving up control on the tricky shot, but nevertheless, he was trying to, I think, break up the 6 ball and the 9 ball there and maybe focus too much on that.
Five balls missed from Roberto Gomez, 4 from Dennis Grabber, and he didn't miss that one. Jumping though, getting position on the 6, that was the impossible dream, surely.
So he's running back to his chair because he's already used his extension in this rack. And he's going to have to execute very quickly now.
Had 1 second left. If you do fall foul of the time clock, of course it's ball in hand, and basically that would have been pretty much end of rack. It might well be now anyway. Well, purely and simply, the shoulder came into that shot far too much to give him any chance of being accurate in terms of straight shooting.
Yeah, he had a little bit of movement when he hits the ball, but if you look to the elbow from where we were looking there, behind him, there's slight movement in his body when he shoots. And faced with these tight pockets, you're not going to get away with it.
I'm sure Dennis Grabber, I was going to say can't believe his luck. It's not luck. I'm sure he can't believe that Gomez has made so many errors. You must be thinking, Sanyan, that you wish Chris Melling had made as many as this.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I was thinking it
And
right
it's great.
now.
When's the red?
Actually, I didn't have many chances. We didn't make many mistakes. I mean, in the beginning of match, yeah, but Chris was playing good and running out some. Have you seen that last track? The 2-ball was just incredible.
Yeah, the 2-ball was an amazing shot, and that just shows you how good his stroke is. Here's another look at what Roberto just missed.
Yeah, when you think about the quality of the Chris Melling cueing on that lengthy 2-ball under pressure, and you compare that with the poor cueing of Roberto Gomez on the 7-ball there, it's night and day, chalk and cheese, as we say in English.
Yeah, I think Roberto doesn't feel comfortable anymore, so that's why probably he was moving on the shot on the 7.
And as you get older, Sanyin, you will discover that coping with the nerves in terms of delivering the cue properly becomes more and more difficult. Alison, back me up on this.
I'm not going to say a word there. No, but you know, a lot of it depends on your background in cue sports too. As you know, Phil, I've come from a snooker background, so technically it's a tough game. You have to have really good technique or you're not going to make the balls
The
on that
11th rank.
table. So,
That was great,
and
the
Chris
break.
has come from a
Leading
English
by 6
8-ball
racks.
background and a snooker background. So obviously worked a lot on fundamentals and technique, and that is so important.
So Grabber on the hill, needing one more for victory. And this time he likes what he sees.
The first time he's actually had a good shot on open table. And has it come at the right time to finish this match off? Dennis Grabber grabbing his extension piece. I don't think he's going to need the bridge because he's quite a tall guy.
He's getting used to beating big-name opponents at the World Cup in partnership with Mark Maggi. In the first round, they overcame Belgium 7-5 from 5-1 down. Then they beat Great Britain A, Chris Melling and Jason Shaw 7-6 in dramatic circumstances. Then they beat the Philippines in the quarterfinals and might well have beaten the eventual champions Germany in the semi-finals. They led 7-2, lost 9-7. So the pain of that defeat might well be
Extension, please.
eased in the next few moments.
Oops, he's snookered himself on the 3-ball. He just caught a little bit lower. Because he was bridging over that 5-ball there, he just caught the cue ball a little bit lower than anticipated. He was just trying to punch back through that gap there. And he just caught it a little bit low. To put himself in trouble, would be really disappointed with that. Tried to go rail first and kick the 3-ball in, but now he's left Roberto another chance back at the table, which I'm sure he wasn't expecting.
And Sanjin, when you're on the hill trying to get over the line, the key is not to be too hasty, just be patient.
Yeah, the key is to be patient. Doesn't matter if it is easy rack or tough rack. Just need to calm your nerves, and as you can see, they both made a lot of mistakes, and We can see the heel here if probably Roberto run out this one.
Well, he's made a lot of mistakes, but I would be astounded if he made one here.
Would it be the first heel?
Indeed. And there's nothing like them.
Roberto Gomez.
Some ways to go before that becomes reality. But with Gomez breaking off in rack 12, there's every chance it could be double hill. And who knows, it's entirely possible that Dennis Grabber might have played his last shot. That's the brutal format we're playing under. So that was the shot that cost Dennis Grabber. And really, it was self-inflicted by a poor positional shot just before that, Alison.
Yes, I mean, he had that table. And it's funny with the shot clock there, because on the one ball, he could have taken a little bit more time so that he made sure he could reach the 3 ball easily without hampering himself over that 5 ball. But instead, he chose to get his extension piece out and then sort of shoot from the side of the table, stretching over.
So in the break between racks, Sanyin, what's the plan going forward now, the immediate plan before the World 9-Ball Championship, just to get yourself as sharp as possible?
Yeah, actually, I knew it before, and I figured it out right after this match that I need to work better on my mental game. I think there is nothing like much to improve in technical game, and I'm just gonna focus on my emotions and my mindset just to get properly ready for a World Championship, because I will need it.
Well, we know, Phil, if we look at snooker, Ronnie O'Sullivan has a mental coach. I think a lot more players are adopting the necessary need for that side of the game. You know, a lot of the game is in the head, and it's good that you're thinking about that now, especially at your age.
Actually, I have one for probably 1 year. I have the mental coach.
Well, you're way ahead of the game here then.
Yeah, I think it's like I wrote last night. It's just the mind is separating best from the rest. That's 100% sure.
And then also in this year's World Championship final, we had Chris Henry, who is a mental coach for both players who were in the final, Mark Selby and Sean Murphy.
Extension called.
Yes, poor old Chris was doing a lot of dashing between dressing rooms at the Crucible those 2 days of the final. Here, well, there's a lot of thinking to do as well, because it's another rack that is not straightforward. Gomez tried to hide behind the 6 and the 7 there. He didn't achieve it, but the 8, 9 and the 4 are doing the job just as well.
Well, I think he's going to find himself back in trouble here. Shouldn't be too unhappy with that leave, but like I said, if Roberto could play a really good safety back now, he could get in big trouble.
I'm a harsh critic, I know, but he has been defective against his normal standard when it comes to safety in this match, but that was much better. Okay, it was pretty bog standard, because the 8 and the 9 across the table, across the spine of the table, were providing a barrier, but nevertheless, he's very much got the advantage here. And now Sanyan. One good pot and we could be going the distance.
Yeah, that's the good part. He did. Tough wreck to make it.
When he made contact with the one, I think Gomez had realistic hopes of knocking it in, but these pockets, unforgiving, unrelenting. And Alison, you were spot on. When the pockets are like this, they expose nervousness in the extreme.
I like to. I watch a technique of players, and you can see his back wrist is moving out when he shoots. Well, that was a very, very poor safety shot there from Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis lost his nerves a bit of the wreck before.
It's very tough when you see that opportunity dwindle and now you're back at the table and you start to make mistakes. It's like you've been given the chance, and if you don't take it, it's like the balls punish you.
Yeah, now Roberto made a great shot.
There's a powerful argument to say that Roberto Gomez's fellow countryman and friend, Jeffrey De Luna, made fewer mistakes and lost earlier this afternoon against Niels Fine, and yet Gomez is still battling away.
Yeah, well, Niels really punishes mistakes too, and Dennis hasn't been able to capitalise on Roberto's mistakes in this match.
After the missed 7-ball to the pocket he's draping over now, this is not a gimme. Relief there. Relief. Both players on the brink.
Extension called. Roberto Gomez.
We are going to the wire. if he does make progress.
Thank you, the deciding rack. Roberto Gomez to break.
It's really good to see the people of Gibraltar joining us and supporting this tournament. And now they've been rewarded with a single rack shootout.
Well, he put everything he had into that rack.
Sanyan, you've played an awful lot of pool in your tender years. The pressure of a deciding rack like this, there's nothing quite like it.
Yeah, it is. It's always a pressure, especially in this kind of tournaments. And I just figure out, like, I had many hill matches, and when you're breaking your hill game, just need. I many times had a scratches, and I wanted to make it perfect, but just make the ball and have a shot. Don't try to make anything perfect or anything more speed. Here's tough shot right now. That was a nice one.
That was a tremendous shot, wasn't it?
And that's the kind of imagination you expect from the Filipinos.
Yeah, I didn't see this shot coming.
And Sanyan, unlike your one ball, I didn't think he went for that. I think he played safe. I apologise. You've been making me feel bad since you told me that.
Yeah.
Well, we can't get it right all the time, Phil.
Yeah, set myself high standards. Don't want to call the wrong shot there. But thank you for telling me, Sanyan. I will take that into account. The next time that shot crops up, I'll be thinking about you.
At least you'll remember me.
Absolutely. It's that position in the match
Extension,
where
please.
both players know their next shot could be their last shot of the tournament.
Didn't quite get his speed control right there. Try to just hold behind the three. Got to be careful of double kissing. So it looks like another safety shot, maybe just a cross bank here, coming off the left side of the two. Oh, not what he wanted at all. He hit that way too thick. Left Roberto with a really good opportunity now to finish this match off.
He's normally a killer, is Roberto Gomez, in this kind of scenario. But those mistakes, they've been quite common. And there's another.
Hope Chris did something like this.
There were other ways to play that shot, weren't there? There's a few options there. Wow.
Come on, go back,
Caught
please.
that really thin and not hard enough. Do you think he was trying to go for that, Senjin?
Yeah, for sure he was trying.
It was a thin hit though, wasn't it? Had to be a thin hit. Didn't have enough legs to get to the pocket.
Actually, they both are struggling with speed.
It's hard to pick a favourite here in this match.
Sometimes matches turn out to be the opposite of what you expect, and I think in terms of the standard, that's certainly the case. There's been very little fluency. It's been one scrappy, disjointed rack after the next, but sometimes that adds to the drama.
Wow. Not sure what was happening there. Was he going for a cut shot? Not even sure. Because it was
I'm not sure.
so poorly missed that... Was it a bit of panic? Seemed to have got away with it, and Dennis tried another safety shot, and I think he's left him an edge there. We can see if he hits thin off of it, 2 or 3 rails, he can hook Dennis back. Or snooker him back, whichever you prefer. And he's left a shot. He had to catch it a little bit thinner. He got too much movement on the 5 ball there. Neither player dominating or playing anywhere near their best in this match.
Will there be one more twist?
That was nice.
That was actually a really good shot under the circumstance, I think.
Yeah, I think that was the key shot.
And when the 9 ball is like this, what a warm feeling inside will be coming all over Denis Grabber right now. What a test he has passed. It was staccato pool. There's no doubt about that. It wasn't the highest quality, but in the end, it was the most dramatic match we've seen.